Welcome to another edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Timothy. What's good?
And we are bringing you episode 23. 23, yeah.
Michael Jordan.
It's been a little while since we've been on, so tell everyone, bro, how have you been?
Man, brother, I've been good, man. I've been good. I know we've been on a break for a little bit, but got through a lot of stuff. Like a lot of the eBay stuff, got all of that shit out of the way. Resetting my store. I think I mentioned this like maybe 3 months ago, that I'm going to reset my store, turn it into more of a video game store. So I'm right there at the finish line for that.
Nice.
And I got started working on YouTube too, man. I'm starting to post some YouTube videos, ultra retro gaming related.
Nice.
And it's going pretty well, reaching about 400 subscribers soon. And yeah, it's pretty lit.
Nice.
It's fun.
All right.
What about you, Rob?
Wait, how many subscribers?
400. I'm
Nice.
at 383. So we're
Close.
marching to 400. Yeah, we're
close.
getting there.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
Anything on the rise is good. You
Yes,
know what
sir.
I'm saying?
There it is.
But I've been good. Family and I took a little quick vacay and whatnot, so that was nice to be able to relax and
Nice. Where'd you
clear
go?
the head. We jumped all around up in the Adirondacks.
Oh, beautiful.
So
We love it.
yeah, it's a favorite spot of ours, and we traveled to a bunch of different spots. Had a good time. About a week and a half.
A week and a half. Damn, you disappeared.
Yeah, I did. So
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
yeah. Before we get into it, I
Sure.
want to touch real quick on a quick, news story, whatnot, something that's buzzing around the world. I feel like most, this is gonna relate to a certain type of fan,
Right.
but many people have heard about it,
Yes, we have.
and I want to mention that last night CM Punk made his return to professional wrestling.
Welcome back.
Yeah, after being gone for 7 years.
7 years. He's
7
been gone,
years.
and now he's back.
And he joined AEW.
God bless him.
Hell yeah.
Because the other company sucks.
That's why he left. He
I know.
left. Yeah.
Shout outs to Vince McMahon sucking, man. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
But not only did he make his return, he called out Darby Allin for a match at the All Out pay-per-view on September 5th.
Oh, really?
Which is dope. 'Cause
Okay.
Darby Allin's got a huge buzz. He's one of the guys who I've mentioned before who I've been lucky enough to see live a few times. Actually, one of the best live matches I've ever seen
Shout outs.
was him against Pentagon Jr.
There you go.
Yeah, that
I
shit
think you
was
mentioned
dope.
that way back when.
I did.
Yeah,
That shit
yeah,
was dope. But like Darby's been doing his thing in AEW, and he's actually linked up with Sting. So him and Sting have been doing some crazy stuff together.
Wow, Sting? Sting's
Yeah.
still flipping around?
Yeah, bro.
Shit, I thought he quit like 20 years ago.
Nah, bro. But for CM Punk to come back, he came back in his hometown Chicago, which was
Right.
dope. So the pop last night was insane.
Damn,
Like,
that's crazy. He's got to get built, man. I seen him down on the floor. I was like, damn, this man got skinny as hell. What's going on?
yeah. Well, he's got till September 5th.
Okay.
To get his body in shape.
You better get on it.
Yeah. But that's going to be an awesome return match. You
Yeah,
know what
it
I'm saying?
is.
Him against Darby Allin.
Now, I got a real question for you. Do you think that CM Punk's return is actually going to be like a legit return? Like, I don't want it to be like The Rock where he shows up for like 10 minutes and he's out for the next movie or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think it's legit. He's here to stay.
He's here to stay?
Yo, it's gonna
God
be.
bless.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
He's really, like I said, 7 years since he
Since he exited.
has done anything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm happy. I know a lot of like I said, the wrestling world and whatnot. That shit is buzzing everywhere.
Right.
Bro.
I have not seen this much buzz since like The Rock versus Stone Cold years. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are some
Oh,
good
yeah.
times. Though.
That's like that's when I was watching.
Yeah. That's when you was watching?
Yeah,
See,
that,
there you
that
go.
was the best ever. I loved it.
So, all right. So the topic we are going to dive into today is one that continues to grow on a daily basis, as well as being used universally worldwide. Our guest today is someone who has agreed to come on to share his knowledge, his personal usage, opinions, and possible advice in this ever-growing cryptocurrency game. Ladies and gentlemen, Karl Vatore.
Hi.
Welcome, brother.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
I'm good.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to come on, bro. We appreciate it.
You got it.
So, Tim knows and has personal experience involving this as well. So, I'm sure that no matter the question, between the two, between the two of you, we'll definitely get some answers.
Cool.
So, let's get right into it. Karl, what is Bitcoin?
Wow. What is Bitcoin? Okay, that's...
Give me an easy or give me a soft definition, if you can.
Yeah, basically...
Also, you can move the mic with you, too.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, so you can hear. Yeah.
It's a ledger. It's a piece of software. That's essentially what it is. It's software and a ledger, and it works with blockchain technology. Do you know what blockchain is?
No, I don't.
All right. So basically, it's a way to store data. And it's a group of data that's put together and in a format that's called a block. And it's a chain of those together. That's what blockchain technology is. And it's with Bitcoin, it's pretty interesting because one of the main things that's so great about it is how decentralized it is. I think this is not like in order of how I should talk about this, to be honest with you.
No, it's all right.
You good.
Because it is like such a complex thing. And there's so much to like that question.
Right. So, according to Wikipedia, we'll say,
Hit the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You good.
Bitcoin is currency that was created in 2009 by an unknown person using the alias Satoshi Nakamoto.
Mr. Nakamoto. We still don't know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what it is, I guess, is it's basically transactions are made with no middlemen.
Right.
Which basically cuts the banks out. Banks being the middlemen.
Yeah.
Correct?
I mean, definitely. As far as like, that's what the utility of it is that we can cut out the banks because it's a peer-to-peer permissionless system. So you and I could just do a transaction and we don't need a third party to take a piece and regulate it for us, essentially. Like,
right.
Which makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. And it's powerful because of the decentralization. Like I was saying before, basically what it is, there's a bunch of nodes that are throughout the world, really.
Right.
And there's no one country, there's no one person. Like we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, and that means that there's no leader or place where you can go where you can stop Bitcoin. There's individual nodes. Right. And they all work together as a part of a system to verify transactions. So basically what it is, it's a ledger of truth, essentially. It's verified by parties who don't, whose only responsibility is to verify the truth of the ledger itself.
Right. It's kind of crazy, like when, because I got into it, like I at least got into the idea of it years and years ago. And when I heard about it, I was like, so that basically means that the fate and the hope of that peer-to-peer trade just rests on that ledger. Like, like they could be lying. Who knows? No one freaking knows. But it's also kind of beautiful in a way because it shows that not only is cryptocurrency here to stay, but it shows that it's actually holding up just as well as having a bank. So like what we were saying, the ledger replaced the bank. So there's no bank saying, okay, you have this much money, we're going to pass it over here. You know what I mean? It's more like, I'm just going to pass it to this other guy, but we're going to use this ledger that shows that the transaction came to such and such place and then it left such and such place to that next person. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it's crazy because all the blocks themselves and then just the energy that it takes to mine it, and then getting the rewards. That system is just crazy to me,
right?
Because the value is going up, and then there's this thing called the difficulty adjustment,
right?
So which is so like that whole bit is so weird. Basically, it's like when there's more people on the network, it gets harder, and you need more equipment to get the Bitcoin to solve the puzzle,
right?
Because that's what it is. It's basically everybody's competing to solve this puzzle to be able to verify the block that they're producing.
Mining. Right.
Exactly, and then that becomes the reason why you get Bitcoin. So you're verifying this block. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, everything attached to it on the blockchain is legit. Like nobody messed with it and that's what's so cool about it, because all the other nodes can, if someone did try to mess with it,
Right.
they would deny it because they all have a history of what happened.
What happened on that node? That's
Exactly.
kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, and that's why it's so safe and secure.
Right.
So the only way that you can that you would be able to hack Bitcoin is if you, and I was thinking about this today, and my mind was blowing about this. So you'd have to get 51% of the network, right?
Okay.
But by the time you got 51% of the network, wouldn't it be more worth it just to hold the freaking Bitcoin?
Yeah,
at that
it
point?
would be. It would
so
be.
like, why would you even attack it?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Like, it's just all it is pure profit at that point. Or if you have that much of it, then you have all these other people you could trade with and be in a power position.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Now I got a better, well, not a better, but another separate question on top of it. How long does it take normally to mine one Bitcoin?
So yeah, that's a good question, and it's crazy. So part of the difficulty adjustment, every 2 weeks it rebalances that.
Okay.
Because if it's too hard and there's not enough miners competing, or they don't have the amount of energy it would take to produce at the level required for that difficulty level, it'll ratchet it down.
Okay.
So there's not as much energy required to get the Bitcoin.
Interesting.
So that's why when the miners of China, remember, did you hear about like all the Bitcoin miners of China living there?
Right.
They got kicked out for like that's a whole thing. I don't even
Right.
want to
And China's trying to back out. I'm like, all right, you guys are going to be back, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think there's people there who still have it, but I don't know. They want to take control of their own currency, and they're kind of isolating themselves. I don't think that's a good move for them, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Because everybody else has gotten into this. The rest of the world, like, how are you not going to take part of what the world is doing? Because that's
Right.
what it is.
Well, it's
global.
interesting. I don't want to get too much into politics, but it's like that whole communism mindset where they want to control, or they want to have that controlling stake of what happens with Bitcoin and whatnot.
I think there's going to be some of that here too.
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely.
We don't want that. Our government's not going to want to give up control of it. But again, yeah, that's not even
Under the guise of fairness.
I mean, there's definitely a level there that they can't touch,
Right.
and that they're going to have to give up, because the truth is we don't even need our smartphone to hold the Bitcoin. You just need a computer to access it somewhere.
Right.
All you need is the keys. Right. So that's crazy. That's a lot of power and a lot of sovereignty given back to the individual person when you can use a system.
I never
like
thought
that.
of it like that.
Yeah, man. This is a whole. It's a personal
It's
sovereignty
crazy.
thing.
This shit is gotten deep.
Yeah, it's real
This
deep,
is
super
real
deep, right?
So
Yeah.
let's rewind real quick.
My bad.
Sorry.
No, you good. You good. Just let's explain. Let's hit. What is this mining?
Yeah.
Explain what mining is.
Okay. So basically, it's they get a bunch of computers, hard drives, and they are verifying transactions.
Okay.
And then they create so it's a competition to solve a puzzle within a time frame. And it has to do with the hashing as well. Like, I'm not 100% on this technical part of it. To be honest, like, if I was to say I knew a lot about something, it would be like the investing part and the global macro implications of it, honestly. But that being said, like, I kind of understand this a little bit. They're solving this problem, and then whoever gets it the first crack at it, they kind of have the network verify that it's legit, and they can be added to the blockchain. Then it's added to the blockchain,
Right.
and then it gets distributed, so all the other nodes have this information. And it kind of was like I was saying before, the 51% is the only way you can really hack it, and so it has this. Basically, it's a trust factor.
Okay.
So and the fact that there's only going to be 21 million of them all time ever means that it's scarce.
Okay.
So it's valuable.
So everybody's going after.
Yeah. I mean, think about, like, what's the most valuable thing that you would have thought there is out there like 10 years ago? Like, stocks, maybe gold.
Gold bullion. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Something like that. But now and it's so hard for people to protect that and hold it and move it. It costs money to store gold. So there's a cost factor that goes along with it. On top of that, you can mine it. You can mine more. Humans
Right.
they can find a way to get more. And that's kind of the point. Like, it's not finite like Bitcoin is. So gold, you can get more of it. So you can inflate the price of it, because now you're just adding more. I mean, humans, if they start not valuing it as much, or the population starts to like wane this or that, like, and it may even go down more.
Okay.
If people don't want it
It's
as
interesting.
much. Yeah. So, but Bitcoin doesn't have those characteristics. It has something that's more finite, and they're going to go through this mining process where they. Or people earn the Bitcoin, right? And there's a halving cycle, and this is like what got me into the investing over the pandemic.
Oh wait, before you get to it, let's go back, since you were saying that it's a very finite.
Yeah.
So for the listeners out there, they may want to know what makes it finite.
So what makes it that way? It's part of the protocol. It's software, and it's designed this way.
Okay.
Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, they designed Bitcoin coming out of the 2008 crisis,
right,
as a way to kind of cut the middleman out, because look what they did. And like the people deserve protection and a protocol that's going to be consistent and add value to their lives. And and even what the government's doing now with us, and I'll kind of like circle back and get there, but they're inflating the monetary supply. They're printing all this money.
It's very true, especially right now. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like they're doing the same behavior that they were essentially, as in 2008. They're
right.
not treating value with respect,
right?
Essentially,
right. And eventually the bubble will pop, or it should, anyways.
Well, I don't know. I think probably something will happen, and I couldn't guess what it is. I've heard so many different things because but this is what I do know and what I can say I've seen: stock prices, asset prices are going up. Prices of food are going up.
That's true.
So there is that element. And what does that mean? It means the value of our dollars are going down.
Right.
And now here's this system, this network that's only going to grow in value, because there's like 1.2 billion people who right now have access to it. They're using like crypto,
right.
And it's only going to go up from there. Oh, actually, no, because Bitcoin actually has, I think I read today, it was like 74 million users.
On Bitcoin, on some aspect of it.
They were on Bitcoin. I looked at a website today.
That's crazy.
74 million. Yeah, absolutely. And their prediction that I've heard from like Raoul Pal and Real Vision, and he's like a big time Goldman Sachs investor that basically does his own thing now. Has his website. It's awesome. I recommend it. But just for finance stuff. But,
okay.
He was saying how like it's projected to be at 3 billion by 2015.
Jesus.
Oh no, 2025 rather.
3 billion?
Or
the valuation?
It's a 10x of the amount of adoption. So it's like Metcalfe's law. There's this thing called Metcalfe's law. Like the value of the network itself is squared by the number of users that it has. So it's the number of users squared is the value of the network.
Jesus.
So as the amount of adoption goes, then the price expands that way. So and because Bitcoin, people with smartphones, and we're getting like the country of El Salvador adopted it. We got big investors have been talking about it on in regular media. There's MicroStrategy, which is ridiculous. It has 105,000 of them. It's a publicly listed company. They bought, like Michael Saylor is crazy. He's one of the people who really influenced me and my decision to buy Bitcoin back. He's great. I don't know. Like this is kind of bunny trailing, but like,
no, it's fine. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of adoption happening. That's the point. So it's got an upward trajectory versus what the dollar has a downward trajectory of my purchasing power and value. It's not to say that I wouldn't want to have some cash on hand at some point or another, but like just because you can use it. And Bitcoin, that's where it kind of gets a little bit difficult right now. You can't really use it for stuff to buy things. It's more of like a big transaction type of a thing. It's more of an investment vehicle at this point. Now, could that change? There's like Lightning Network. Have you heard of that?
Lightning Network?
Lightning Network.
Lightning Network, excuse me. Yeah.
It's basically like this. It's something that speeds up the transaction time because it takes like 10 minutes to an hour for a transaction to register.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Bitcoin.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So that's like one of the things that they call like a layer 2 solution. That's something they build on top of the original protocol in order to give it more functionality.
So that's a whole nother conversation, though. You think? Yeah.
Yeah, it really.
Like on the speed of moving Bitcoin from point A to point B.
I mean, and that's where I think, we were talking about Doge earlier. Like that may have an advantage. Maybe like the two together can be a system that, actually works. Michael Saylor, when he talks about Bitcoin, he says that it's like the granite rock of Manhattan.
The granite.
It's like owning blocks of Manhattan.
Right.
And then Ethereum, something like Ethereum is like the buildings that are on top of the land. And so owning the building is good because they build apps.
The foundation. Yeah.
And it's like so basically it's like owning Microsoft, the platform.
Right.
Essentially. And then there's the apps that are businesses that are built on top of it that are inside the building. That's what he talks about with that. So it's like so there's these layers of investment that are there that are being built on top of all this stuff, right? And Bitcoin is just a bedrock of that. You know, it's the thing that, and it's because it's so decentralized. You know, everything else can be replaced that's on top of it. Like a building can be replaced, it can be knocked down, you can build another one. You know, but the bedrock is what's most important, and the decentralization gives it the protection it needs to be that. You know, when I hear people all the time talking about like it's basically like a printing press fire type of technology, like that, like that's going to be changing for humanity in that way. And I'm like, hear that.
Oh, that's a big change.
So what
like,
is
wow.
what is the purpose of Bitcoin? To eliminate money or paper money?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is a good question. What is the purpose?
What is the purpose of Bitcoin? I mean, it's so it seems like it's a way to send money over the internet, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the schools of thought that I personally believe is just that it's a store of value at this point.
Okay.
You know, and that's
so it's an asset class.
It's an asset class, exactly. It's its own thing, cryptocurrency, but specifically Bitcoin. Even when the senators were just recently, they were talking about it in the making an amendment for this infrastructure bill that they were going to do it. They were considering kind of exempting it from some of, because it's its own, it's considered property, digital property.
Right.
It's its own class, and they weren't going to have as much regulation towards it.
I think that's exactly the reason why they cut it off, if that's it.
So I mean,
they can't control it.
And that's kind of like, I don't want to say bending the knee, but leaning in, I would say.
But just to bring it back, so Bitcoin essentially is just an asset to hold. It's not necessarily something that can be spent at any point in time.
So this is like when it was kind of getting into like, will it be money kind of thing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is pretty interesting to me. So yeah, I'm going to, I have some Bitcoin. I'm going to hold it. There's going to be companies, they got Bitcoin. They're going to hold it. You get 100 million of Bitcoin, there's a lot that we can do with it now.
Okay.
You can borrow against it. So now you get, and this is just mind blowing to even think of that.
Borrowing against it, interesting.
So you're this is what rich people do apparently. I mean, I just recently found out about this, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, see how I could work it in if I can. I don't know. We'll see. But
make it part of the profile.
I mean, I don't know. Just thinking about it, but just rolling around in there is that if you have an asset that's going up 120% a year,
right,
and now you can get a loan for 6%, or if you own a house and you can take out a mortgage on it and you can do that for 2%.
Well, that's interesting.
And now you have that lump sum of cash that you just put in there. And especially if you have a longer duration of time on the loan, if you get a 30-year, that's like set, that's fixed at 2% when the currency is being devalued. And then now you got the asset going up in price. It's a no-brainer to do that. For me, it's just kind of like, I don't know if I have anything to work that with, but for some people, that'd be super useful.
Would you, if you had like a 30-day loan or a 30-year loan and you pulled some money off of it, would you personally, reinvest that into crypto or into stocks?
It's hard to say. It really kind of depends. For me, I'm trying to do. It's an emotional thing, I think, somewhat, because it's your home.
Yeah. And
that's why it's hard for me to really put a finger on what that would feel like, because I don't have that.
Right.
But I can say now I'm trying to diversify. And there's that element that if I feel like I'm putting a number of eggs in one basket, like, will I even want to mess with that?
That's true.
There's that one, but that's playing safe, I mean, if it's just mathematically, it totally makes sense. I probably would end up doing it, honestly.
Okay.
I wonder how I would feel about it, but when it comes down to it, if you're being, cold, calculated.
Right. You're just jumping right into it.
2% versus that. Like, do you believe this is going up or what?
It's true. I even remember like after 2008 when that bubble popped and nobody was spending anything, everybody was just holding on to their money. So it was just like, okay, it was such a weird, because that was when I first started getting into understanding money too. So it was like the perfect time, because I found out what people do when they don't spend anything and when the stock market just like completely just tanks.
What did you find out?
So what I found out is that a lot of people hold on to cash. They hold on to cash. They don't necessarily hold on to assets, or they get rid of their assets. They get rid of their stocks. they this is the birth of crypto, right? So they get rid of all of this stuff and they're wanting to put it somewhere else. So crypto in a way kind of came in at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is like to kind of even piggyback off what you were saying. One of the things I learned from, Peter Lynch was just like stomaching the volatility.
There it is.
So,
it's true.
But, when you see Bitcoin itself, and then, and even crypto following Bitcoin on a cyclical timeline because of the halvings, it's like, okay, it has some predictability somewhat.
Yeah, it has some predictability to it.
Or that makes me feel even more a little bit comfortable. And if it did go down and things changed, but we're still on an upward trajectory, Metcalfe's law, people adopting, like, where is the world going? Everybody is getting smartphones. It's easier to get smartphones. They're becoming cheaper. Apple's $2 trillion. Like, everything is going towards having a handheld device that has some sort of digital money that moves fast.
Right.
And that's the thing that gives me confidence in investing in it. And then it's like you read about the technology and how complex it is, and just the all the energy being put into it, to keep it safe. It's like, no, this isn't going anywhere.
Right.
It's not.
It's always here to stay for sure. Yeah.
So, but then again, so it's just about that comfort level. Yeah, I'm going to invest in it, and that's like, then you talk about the discrepancy of 2% versus the overall increase in value of 120. It's like,
how can you do it?
How can you not?
One of the things that really, and this is more recent than back then, one of the things that really made me like open my eyes even more about crypto or about investing in general, is that you were saying the electronics and stuff. Smartphones have made it easy for people to invest. You don't need to go to a broker. You don't need to, go to a third person or a middleman or whatever to hand over the money and then tell them, hey, can you look at this for me? Look at what it is, or invest this for me. It's actually kind of funny. One of the audiobooks that I've been listening to for the last month is on Warren Buffett's life. So Warren Buffett's like the OG of making money and the OG of investing, and all of his methods, they just don't even, a good majority of them, I would say, don't work anymore. They don't apply. Mainly because of he made his money taking it from other people. Like when he started getting really good, because he said that he wanted to be a millionaire by the time he hits 35, or I think it's 30. And he was really like hitting the road. Like, this was back in like the 60s and the 50s, like coming off of the Great Depression. So grinding to get $1 million at that was like, nearly impossible. You know what I mean? So the way he did it, he got so good at it that other people was like, oh, hey, family, friends and stuff, here's 10,000, invest it for me. Let's make money together. And that's what he started doing. He started getting more people to invest with him. And he would just take like 20%, 30%, like whatever they make. He takes his percentage, and that's how he got rich.
Yeah.
Now, this whole entire idea is kind of like blown up nowadays, because now everyone has the power. If you're smart enough, you can go online. You know what I mean? You can go on Reddit, or you can go on Twitter, and you can look up, even if you don't know anything, you can just follow the trend. If you're a good trend follower, you can follow the trend. Oh, everyone's buying this coin now. Let me buy this. Okay, I've made this much. I'm selling it. So the whole dynamic behind investing in crypto and everything has changed.
100%. More people have access to information, just like straight up. But yeah, you're right. Everything you said is totally true. I agree with that. It's crazy. And like, the other thing is that humans are seeing now that make crypto more appealing.
Right.
And I think, just the information part aside, like, this is freaking amazing. We know what it is to be an exponential technology.
Yeah, we do.
Because we had like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, blue chip.
But then like Amazon, think about how volatile it was, up and down, up and down. Even like the most prominent people at the time didn't know that it was going to be success.
Right.
But it's the network effects that drove it. Everybody being able to have easy access like this, right?
Right.
Crypto's the same way. And knowing that information and having people and being a part of a community or group that can jump on an opportunity together just gives you strength.
Right. It does give you strength.
And all those things I think are amazing.
I also think it's kind of funny because one of the things about investing in general is that there shouldn't be like any insiders. There shouldn't be any insider knowledge. So it's kind of funny watching people just jump onto, they call them meme stocks.
Yeah.
So essentially meme stocks is just people jumping onto a trend. That's kind of like, if you think about it, if you really seriously sit down and think about it, that's kind of like investor, like, or inside investment knowledge that essentially people shouldn't have. I remember, for example, one of the big Reddits is called Wall Street Bets, if you don't know about it. Mm-hmm. But Wall Street Bets is just basically a lot of people getting together and saying, we're going to invest in this or we're going to invest in this. And then they actually had the government come in multiple times to try and figure out what's going on, because obviously it's supposed to be illegal and they couldn't find out anything.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it's more so like, if you want to like make money, that's kind of like easy money if you're really smart. Just follow that trend online.
I totally agree. Myself, I haven't
Same
been
with crypto. Yeah.
Well, totally. I've tried to, over the course of the time I've been doing this, like since, July of last year, I've been trying to just focus on things that I think have what I feel comfortable with is like value for society. Like,
okay.
So some of the meme stuff for me, I'm like, okay, like I'm happy for people who have it like that.
Right.
But my brain doesn't know how to navigate that as well as say something that's, has a utility.
Right.
So
that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
For me, like,
I respect it.
More power to you. And that's why I couldn't get over the 130 billion coins of Doge.
Right.
Even now hearing about like having Vitalik and Musk, because like, that sounds like a deadly combo.
It is a deadly combo.
They like, I think they're going to do something with that. And I missed out. I probably could still buy some.
No,
now.
you can still buy. Yeah,
I know, but it's like
not investment knowledge. Not investment advice.
That's right. But I don't know. I'm so like vested in other stuff now. It's just like I missed it. I feel
right.
Because I'm just going to keep running with those horses, whatever.
So let's keep this a little then directed towards you then personally, Karl.
Sure.
Let's
Sure.
When did you get into Bitcoin?
So it was definitely August of last year.
Okay.
I opened a Robinhood account in July of last year. And, just like a lot of other people, I figured I want to take advantage of the market. I'd heard in the media about the dip from the pandemic, and they gave us that extra cash. And I was like, well, maybe I can invest it. The market's down. I'm going to watch a couple of videos and figure it out a little bit. And YouTube is great for teaching you things when you're bored. Mm-hmm. So I found like the Peter Lynch thing. And then I started, looking into different stocks and what I thought was going to be good and go up in the future. And what I saw for humanity, like after post-pandemic, just trying to think that stuff through as best I could. And sure enough, I remember thinking about Bitcoin and how, it was a cyclical in nature back in the day. And actually what really happened was I was thinking about changing careers. I was like, maybe I have time. I can look into becoming a developer, software developer or something like that.
Sure.
And I went to see on YouTube that there was like how-to videos, and there was this guy who was talking about Ethereum developing. And I was like, wow. And like,
like a developing on the chain?
I think making apps for Ethereum. Like that was the type of developer
Smart
he was.
Apps. Okay.
So I was like, wow, that's super interesting. What is that? What is blockchain? And then blockchain brought me back to Bitcoin, which I had heard about in the past. And then I started watching some videos just on crypto and Bitcoin. And the one that I remember distinctly, like I had been investing in a couple things. I had bought some Bitcoin, but without knowing too much about it, just seeing like what the chart looked like, where it was going. And I thought, yeah, this is going to go up from here, no doubt. So I dabbled a little bit. I actually had bought a full Ethereum coin. And then what ended up happening was I remember watching Michael Saylor and Raoul Pal and their take on it, and hearing about just the the money supply and how it was devaluing, and just the upside.
You mean the money supply of Bitcoin?
No, of the U.S. dollar.
Okay.
Because of the printing, and
right.
He was talking. Michael Saylor talks about a melting ice cube, and then the rate of your money going, losing its value from 2% to 15% to
Jesus,
like 30%. Yeah, and that's why it's hard to ignore that.
They still want you to put money into it.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's not even just that. It's like, what is the bank giving you for keeping it in your bank account?
2%, 1%.
Not even 2.
Not even 2. Not even.
Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then some of the cryptos, if I don't do this myself, but you can make like 10, 20% on some of that stuff. It goes up high if you're in certain risky pools or whatever.
Right.
So
it's actually kind of funny that you were saying that about banks. I was actually like maybe a week ago, I was watching YouTube about investing and such. And one gentleman in particular, I'm trying to remember his channel. He was basically saying, you don't need to put your money into a bank at all. If you are willing, you should take your money and just invest in something. Like maybe have like 1,000, 2,000 cash on hand and just invest. Obviously, he said no investment advice, but the mentality to say that, yeah, you don't need to put your money in the bank anymore, because what are they giving you, like 2%? Like you were saying, not even 2%. So 1% to hold all of this money that they get to control. You know what I mean? It's so rough in this environment of the pandemic, for one, but also people not having jobs, not finding work that's really easy to do and make money without breaking their backs.
That's one of my biggest fears too, is
exactly
people who put, all their trust and whatever into these banks, put all their money in, and then what happens if for some reason, the banks lose your money? And,
Right.
and it's like,
and that does happen.
you can't, and then, there's nothing that we can do, or if, that would suck.
Yeah.
And everybody that has invested their entire life is now shit out of
It's
luck.
not shit out of luck, and broke in some cases. Like they lose everything. They lose their pens and everything.
So that scares me.
Yeah.
It's to not want to use banks.
Right.
Dude,
You know
want
what
to hear
I'm
something
saying?
crazy? Because think about this. Think about all the people who are in the generation before who have their money in banks, and they don't realize it's about to become like useless.
Right.
And they're trying to retire. They'll be retiring at the same time. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's scary.
It is. It could be some serious pain that happens. In all seriousness, so it is like as exciting as it is to just to see like that there's something that would be better for everybody.
Right.
That combined with the fact that money itself is going to be worth less, it's scary to not know what's going to happen.
Right.
And then talking about this with people, I feel like is the best way to help them. Because it's, I've heard it called an escape hatch. From a dying system, right? Like that's what it is. It's to me at least. That's how I view it, and why I've chosen to go down this path. Is because I do see that happening. That we're changing, and then this is what we're changing to. Why not get on board?
Now I do have a side question for you. Then, if you said you were investing in different cryptocurrencies, right? Or is it just Bitcoin and Ethereum?
So what? Yeah, getting back to the story of that. Yeah,
that's fine.
So I was investing in a lot of different things, and then Bitcoin. After watching a lot of a bunch of YouTube videos about it, I realized like that's what's going to go up the most. So and I remember listening to like Warren Buffett, Chamath Palihapitiya. He's a really
I've heard of him.
He's awesome. I love watching that guy. He's amazing. They're always saying like I made one big bet, and I made one big bet, and that's how I was able to propel myself and move forward. And Bitcoin to me at that point did seem like I sold my Tesla stock that I had been stacking up. I sold my Alibaba stock that I was like stacking. I sold my Ethereum coin, and I put it all into my Robinhood account of Bitcoin. I did some other stuff too because I took control of my 401k, and then I started actually investing in stocks there.
Good for you. Good for you.
My Roth IRA.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I felt comfortable just going hard with crypto and Robinhood. At
you gonna put it back into the Roth?
Well, there's a way that you can do crypto in a non-taxable account.
Interesting.
But I can't remember what the name of the company is.
Somebody doing it.
I'm kind of like, when I found out about it, like I guess there's certain things where I'm like, I just can't do everything.
Right.
I got my strategy. I'm going to play it out, see how it happens. You know what I mean? Like, but that was one where I was like, shit, I wish I would have known about that.
Right.
Because even putting money, like buying crypto in Robinhood, you can't move it off there. You don't have your own keys. And that's that's one
of the problems that I have with Robinhood personally.
I agreed. I wish I would have known that. It was a new mistake. I mean, on the one hand, I don't have to worry about security. You know what I mean? But I also, I couldn't, if I wanted to, I couldn't get yield on it.
Okay.
You can earn like a percentage, which, again, it's not horrible. People probably want to have your crypto in multiple spots. If you have a.
Do you have it in somewhere else, like Coinbase or Trust Wallet?
Just because I was trying to buy different ones, like I have something on like an Exodus wallet, where I can earn a % yield on my thing. So there's different options out there, and I just kind of found ones that I was comfortable with. I plan, think about stocks. I don't want to like crap on it because Tesla yesterday with the friggin' robots. You guys hear about that?
Oh, there was robots?
We do. I mean, I did. I do actually. I'm chasing down somebody that I actually know that works for Tesla, and I got in touch with him
Let's
about
get that on there.
Trying to get him to come on. Yo, if you listening to this, bro, you know who you are. So,
That's sick.
yeah. Let me ask you though, real quick, bro. Or actually, for both of you, is there a limit to the amount of Bitcoin one can purchase, or is there an unlimited amount? How does this process work?
You want to do it? I can
give me a quick rundown.
Yeah. I mean, so how much you can? Yeah, you can buy as much of it as you can afford, basically.
Okay,
that's it.
And one of the things I hear all the time is like you get what you deserve when it comes to like the price that you sell it at, essentially, because it's such an uptrend.
Yeah.
And so
it's true.
And the reason why I say it like that is because it's predicted that after it hits a certain level, then it will become more attractive to like really big institutions, and they're going to start buying it.
So interesting thing about that as well. A little like about a month ago, Ethereum.
Same with Ethereum. Yeah.
I think actually, just to talk about Ethereum, I think Ethereum eventually is going to perform better. It's not probably going to have the same value as Bitcoin, but it'll definitely perform better. And a lot of people will make a lot more money off of that. Same with Cardano, if you ever heard of it.
I had Cardano.
Yeah, you had Cardano?
Yeah, then I sold it and bought Solana with it.
Solana? Oh, well, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But aside from those things, let me get back to what I was trying to say here.
Sorry, dude.
Oh no, you're good. What was I trying to say? Nope, it's lost me.
All right, well,
yeah, we can.
Let me ask another question. Maybe we can run that one back or whatever, so you can remember. But would someone be able to live comfortably off Bitcoin?
Good question.
Yeah. There's this family out there, this Dutch family. I think he's Dutch. I don't remember, but like he's rolling around the Europe, and he has his family in a van, and they just go to different spots. They chill, and he's doing it all on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What the hell? So like can you buy like houses and cars and boats and shit with this?
Yeah.
Or?
You can trade it. It's something that you can like. There's some apps that you can use it and you spend it as currency. I don't know why you do that, but essentially what some people do, since it's an asset class, it's literally an asset. So whatever the value of what you have, you can trade it over.
Oh, I got you.
You have to go through the avenue, signing papers or whatever. But let's say, for example, if I have like $500,000 in Bitcoin, you can either convert it back into money, like you can send it to a bank, and however the bank wants to deal with you getting the money out, they'll handle it that way. Some people, if you send it directly to their wallet, because what he was saying before, those nodes, they actually end up as what's known as a wallet. So if you send the Bitcoin to such and such person, as soon as they can confirm it in their wallet, it's basically theirs now. So they have that
digital
asset.
wallet.
It's a digital wallet.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the apps that I use is called Trust Wallet. It's literally called Trust Wallet. It has all the different cryptocurrencies.
Sick.
But I love it. But aside from that, essentially for stuff like Bitcoin, you can trade it over. There will probably be lawyers involved if it's a lot more money,
right?
Because they want to make sure all the P's and Q's and everything about transferring it over, the taxes and all that's taken care of.
Yep,
that's interesting.
It's money. It's essentially money. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Have either of you guys personally purchased anything with Bitcoin?
No,
I haven't purchased anything, but I have taken it out and used like cash. So yeah,
that's
cool.
Yeah. Actually, Robinhood, I know a lot of people use it. People have mixed opinions about it. Robinhood is actually talking about getting their own wallet soon, so that you can spend money using crypto. Like for example, also another company, Tesla. Like we can go back to Tesla. For a very long time, Elon Musk and Doge. Do you know about Dogecoin?
Just from what you have mentioned in the past.
So that whole Dogecoin is like a whole nother cryptocurrency where if you mine it, instead of getting one Bitcoin, you get like 10,000 of the Dogecoin. So Elon Musk has been heavily pushing Doge. And every time he'll tweet like a Doge meme, because it's based on a meme of Shiba Inu. So he'll post like a meme, or he'll post something that has something to do with dogs or with the memes that come with Doge. And he's been pushing it hard. And one of the biggest things that he did that made the Doge price shoot to its all-time high was say that he was going to use Doge, that you can use it as currency to buy a Tesla. So if you wanted to go in to Tesla and be like, hey, I'm getting a new Tesla car, and how you want to pay now? I want to pay in Doge. Okay. And that's a thing.
Wild.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and also Newegg. I don't know if you know about Newegg, but Newegg is an online electronics company where they buy and sell and ship electronic parts. You can use Doge there. You can use Doge to buy these computer parts, and they'll ship it to you. So a lot of people are picking up on Doge. It's a little bit different from Bitcoin. A lot more people, when it comes to Bitcoin, just think about Bitcoin as like digital gold, literally.
Okay.
So you're going to get a lot of the higher upper echelon people dealing with Bitcoin. But for the low end, you're going to see people using Ethereum. They'll be using Doge. They'll be using Cardano, like things that are more closely trending with the dollar they'll use.
I got you.
So it's all money.
No, 100%. The one thing I forgot to get to before that I think is kind of relevant to what you're saying about, like, what they say about long-term prospects of Bitcoin if it goes up, and I totally agree. Different platforms are going to use different things, but
Right.
one of the things that I found interesting was the fact that people think that at some point people could start using their Bitcoin. Because the value will go so high that you'll have to start using it instead of borrowing against it. Because it's like you get to a threshold where you're like, okay, now I got to do something with it.
Right.
And so it's a time to change what into the value into something else or something different, and then it could proliferate down from that point.
And that proliferation, I think, is so interesting because now they have to design new technology. Like, how do you spend one Bitcoin if the Bitcoin is like $100,000?
There's the Satoshis,
Right. The Satoshis, right?
And I think even the Ethereum has like Gwei or whatever.
Gwei?
It's like a fragmentation.
Of it. Yeah, it's freaking
weird.
crazy, bro.
It really is. I was like, okay.
And I actually, I'll just apologize for both of us. There's no way that you can talk about cryptocurrency without getting into the weeds like this.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's like mind blowing for you. Like for you, it's like
good,
all
bro.
in one day.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's crazy, but I'm sure there's plenty of listeners out there that are gonna soak all this shit up too,
Yeah, man.
I'm sure that they be loving it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But we're actually going to take a quick break. But before we do that, we want to remind everybody to please find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, Google, and Twitter. And that is at IAR Podcast. And by using the platform of your choice, please show the love and subscribe, follow, share, comment, leave a quick review and a 5-star on the Apple page.
Please.
And with that being said, we'll be right back.
All right.
So I have a question for our listeners out there. Do you own a computer? Are you having trouble with broken screens, data backup issues, password reset problems, virus spyware removal, software installation issues? If so, Slipstream Repair Computer Electronic Solutions has you covered. Contact Timothy Latunde at 845-204-1712. The email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Once again, that is 845-204-1712. And the email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Call or email to schedule a free consultation. Welcome back to It's All Relative. Still joining us in studio, Karl Vatore.
Hello.
Now, so far, we've pretty much heard the positive and exciting side of Bitcoin. But just as everything else in life, there's always a bad side or downside to the good.
Very true.
So, let me know, are there ways that someone could lose all their Bitcoin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
How?
There's hackers that can get into your phone They can call your phone company, pretend to be you after. So if they hack a bunch of information, call a phone company, pretend to be you, get a SIM card switch.
Jesus.
And then they can, they'll have access to your accounts, and they can steal anything off one of your wallets.
Damn.
There is that.
So they send the information to their wallet?
Yep. They'll just get on there, they take control of your phone, and they can just ship your coins somewhere else.
Damn. And there's nothing that can be done when that happens, right?
Well, it's about preventative measures prior to that situation happening. Like, are you securing your coins? There's apps that you can find out there that will require the level of security and give you backstops and protections to prevent that from happening.
Okay. Are those protections extended to Bitcoin?
Yeah, and all of crypto, really.
Okay.
If you have a wallet and you have there's like a Google program that has a layer of security through Google.
Okay.
That if they had, you can't have your SIM card swapped. You can call your phone company and just tell them like never swap my SIM card unless I come there.
Oh, okay.
So there's that also. You can do those things, have those measures. You can diversify the places that you have your Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You can have it in a cold storage wallet and just take it off the internet completely. All of it.
I didn't even know about that.
Knowing your private keys yourself is a big deal for that also, because if you know your keys, then you can access your Bitcoin. Okay. So you can just bring it into a cold storage and then.
And what's a private key?
Private key is basically so it's the second part of a string of data that allows you to access the Bitcoin. It's the private part of it. So it's basically just a key, a seed phrase. Okay. So there's a bunch of words that you can memorize, and then you can access, whether it be an app or just the blockchain itself. You can access the what is it called, the mainnet, I believe it's called. Okay. And once you put the seed phrase in, you can have access to the value and then send it to wherever you can send it to. Something like that.
Okay. That's the gist of it. Yeah.
Basically, I've never had to do that. I actually, there's things that I want to do to make myself more safe as well, like even now. Mm-hmm. So that's what I plan on doing.
So the long story cut short, they have protections for certain, not all crypto, but certain crypto.
Yeah, I mean, there's risk. It's a risky game in general, for sure. Because even with picking something, it could be. You could pick the wrong thing, if you didn't do your research and you're just, or if you're not keeping an eye on it. If you're doing it yourself, that's risky. Another thing too with Bitcoin is you can lose that information. You can lose your keys.
Right.
There's people who have lost their key. They forgot their seed phrase and they can't access their money anymore.
Jesus.
Oh, that's
yeah. So that's a whole other thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, but then it also, what that means is it takes that stuff out. So the people who have secured and know what's going on are capable of keeping it safe for themselves. The value goes up even more. And over time, what do you think will happen? Will we gain more? No, we'll lose more than we gain.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
It's another whole dynamic to it. I don't necessarily like that. And, Bitcoin will stop being mined in 2140. And
so 2140, there's no more mining?
No more mining. What happens after that? I don't know.
Just trading, right? And speculation.
It's hard to say. Could they change the system at that point? Probably. I don't know. That's a long way away, but trading could still happen? Yeah. What will that mean for the protocol? I guess it really kind of depends on where we go with it. But that's a risk. You know what I mean? Just the fact that we don't know. If you have a sizable wealth and you want to send it to your grandkids and your great grandkids, and you want to put it in a vehicle that's going to take it there, Bitcoin is super top of the line because it's not a building that's going to fall apart. It's just digital value, essentially, right? So that's a great place. But the question of not knowing what happens then, it's something you're not going to have to worry about per se. You would hope the generations ahead can figure that out. But it is, I think, if I was trying to be critical of finding a point that I don't feel fully comfortable with about, securing value would be that. It would be something to talk about, what happens after that, right? I don't know. What else?
Little bit of a risk.
Again, you won't be alive for that. You know what I mean? It's just what happens then? Well, how do we progress past it? But the truth is,
they will. They have to create a system. Well, the kids that are coming up now, they will create a system at that point in time. All right, this is no more mining, so we have to do it like this. We trade it here. There's banks here, and I feel like just based on human nature, there's no way. It's only because we can't see it because we won't be alive for when that happens. But human nature. They always figure out like how to progress stuff, especially when currency is involved.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So is buying or purchasing Bitcoin safe?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
You can make it safe for sure.
Okay.
I think it's probably safer. In my opinion, it's safer than leaving your cash in a bank account in dollars.
Very true.
So it's, and that's the other part of this is that it's giving digital value, the capability of buying it is easier and it can spread to more people in the world.
Right.
So, and anybody can get the multiple on it if you have access through your smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more people who get it, then it's like you don't have to. You're not going to have like a Hampton, beach house, but maybe you can buy yourself a piece of Bitcoin though.
Right.
And then as that goes up and up and up, like now it's anybody has access to a pristine store value that's decreasing over time and gaining more value. So it's just open to more people, and I think that's really great. It's an easy way to access it. There's no bank holding you back from getting it.
Okay.
It's telling you that you can't take a loan out. You can just throw $5 in and see what happens.
See what happens. Right.
Yeah.
Now, when you were saying the amount is decreasing, that ties back to what you were saying when 2040 they'll stop mining.
Well, there's that, and then it's just like there's the halving event that happens. So every 4 years, they lower the total percentage of Bitcoin that's available per day
To be mined, right?
I think we're like 900 something now, and then in the next time that this happens, we'll be at like 640 in the next halving cycle.
Wow.
So, and then there's companies. Their job is to mine this stuff.
Right.
They have contracts with other companies and government entities in order to provide Bitcoin, so they can do it whatever with it probably.
Right. And that's interesting because I feel like when we were having the conversation earlier, we were definitely making the point that big banks and big companies don't have control. And that's one of the main benefits to owning crypto. But I feel like what you just said right now is they're trying to like sneak in through the back door. They're like, all right, we'll bring our money in. We'll bring our big companies in to mine this for you so that it's available.
That's true. But the thing is, some of the entities that are doing this are exchanges.
Ah, okay. So it's exchanges.
Exchanges, okay. They make their profit off the fees.
Off of fees, right. Off of moving money.
And then if they're selling Bitcoin, that opens them up to the people up to opening other assets they can shill at that point.
Right. Interesting.
So there is that benefit of the long-term value store, but then that opens them up a business. But then there's DeFi.
There's DeFi, yeah. That's
DeFi
true.
is taking, it's even disrupting that industry. So DeFi is the decentralized version of that. It's the protocol that allows you to trade without anybody really taking a piece, essentially.
Right.
Like, so you're not getting charged up the wazoo. I mean, there's gas fees. I shouldn't say that.
Right, gas fees. Okay.
There's gas
Can
fees.
you explain gas fees for us?
Yeah. So gas fee is the fee that the miner takes for I believe it's spread between the miner who's validating, and I think there's like miner validators, something like that. They get a piece of the transaction, and actually Ethereum's burning now.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So they're starting to burn part of the transaction when you process it. So the Ethereum itself is then taken off the market, but their miners are producing more of it consistently. So all it did was reduce the amount, which increases the price over the long term. Right. I mean, they're still they're outpacing the burn currently, but it's just a processing fee essentially of the network to take. It's the energy we pay for the energy required to process the transaction.
It's fucking crazy
because basically the way it validates it by being validated by different nodes throughout the blockchain, and that's so I think there's different amounts depending on what the blockchain is, and processing speed is part of the trilemma that
the actual processing speed of the computers, right?
Vitalik Buterin talks about the trilemma, which is and he's like the creator of Ethereum. Ethereum is like the number one candidate to be basically a world platform, I would say.
Okay.
So,
but not similar to Bitcoin, right? They're not going to be competing or anything.
No, they won't. They could, but Bitcoin, there's a lot there to unpack because they're going to build stuff on top of Bitcoin, and it could essentially do what Ethereum does at some point. It could, but people aren't selling it as that. Right. I think Ethereum has such a head start on that already. They've got the apps going, and that's what makes them so dominant at this point. Their growth trajectory is faster than Bitcoin currently. But Vitalik talks about the trilemma. It's speed, security, and decentralization. Those are the three elements of the blockchain. And there's a bunch of different ones that they say that they have different balances of that and different functionality because of that. Bitcoin is the most decentralized and the most secure by far. It just lacks the speed comparatively. And again, like there's the Lightning Network, which I've heard a lot about. That's supposed to it decreases the transaction cost and increases the speed of it. And I think that they were using it in El Salvador because they had recently made it Bitcoin a currency there. It's a legal tender. Which is like, that's mind blowing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just showing now a different level of adoption than it was ever before.
Right.
I heard a lot of the experts say that they were not expecting that to happen this cycle.
So they adopted it as exciting. Their main currency.
Well, no, it's just one that stores legally have to take.
Oh, okay.
They're required to take it as a form of tender. And then what they did
they're just taking it as Satoshis or what?
I would imagine so. Like, I haven't read up on the details of that, but the government gave all of their citizens the option they actually gave everybody to download a wallet and a phone that only had this wallet. They gave them phones. They only had this wallet on it, and it had like $30 worth of Bitcoin or something.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
They gave it to everybody, and they had the option to either hold it, use it, or change it into dollars.
Interesting.
Which is amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing.
So, exactly. So now they're using it in that way. Everybody... But this is the thing about El Salvador specifically and why they did that I found, I thought that was a good thing. And it shows part of the use case of why Bitcoin and blockchain in general is so amazing. It's for remittances. So there's people from El Salvador who come to the United States and they work here and they want to send back money to their family because the exchange rate, well, actually, they use U.S. dollars in El Salvador, so I don't know if it applies directly in this case. But
they can use that in place of...
They can send them money, basically.
They can send them money, right.
So, but then the banks would be taking a piece on both ends.
Okay.
And then they'd have to... And then there would only be certain spots where they can go get these remittances, and it was a really difficult thing to travel to those places in the country itself.
Right.
So it was only a few stops for that. So it was a struggle for these people to do what they wanted to do, what they intended to do. To go to the States, get dollars, which have a high value, and send it back to their country or whatever, right? So now with Bitcoin, they don't have to share, the cost.
There's no sharing of wealth, right?
This cost is reduced. Now you're sending it faster, and it's going there, and they're getting more money.
And there's no way for, like, let's say the El Salvadorian government to put a fee on moving Bitcoin.
That was one of the things that I watched a podcast. It's this podcast called What Bitcoin Did, and the Peter McCormick is the guy. He does a bunch of Bitcoin stuff, and he was talking to the president of El Salvador. I watched it, and it was super interesting because the president was just like, I'm just putting it out there into the world as a force of good. I don't control it. That's what it like. It's not to be controlled.
Right, but there's somebody in that government is trying to get a piece.
It's weird how they structure their government. They can only have one-term presidents there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think it's like a 6-term, one-term president.
Jesus.
So they only get one crack at it. So I got the sense that he was a guy. They were more like they're more authoritarian than us.
Yeah.
So they can do things at a different pace than we can.
Right.
But I genuinely got the sense that when it came to this issue, at least, and I know because that's the only thing I've really seen this guy talk about. So people just all fairness. He was just doing it altruistically. Like, he wanted...
Okay. So he just really wanted some good to come in to the country.
Well, the thing is, too, with Bitcoin itself is like, it's money.
Right.
You're bringing money to your country because people are loving what you're doing. You're opening up the whole country to allow Bitcoin to flourish there.
Right. And allow interests from outside to come in and
they're going to spend and they're going to build up your country.
Right.
So there's that element of it also. That was a wise move on his part.
I agree.
Oh, let me throw one last question in. Do you think Bitcoin coming in can sort of erode that authoritarian grip by giving more people more control to money and assets?
I think so. I believe that's the case. I mean, anything could happen. I like the United States, for example. I'll get back there to El Salvador, but they in 1971, we went off the gold standard and they confiscated gold.
See?
Or actually, I can't remember if it was in the 30s, they confiscated gold for sure.
There was some conflict over stop using gold as a standard.
I think, it was, there was that. That was in the 70s, and I think they took the gold in the 40s or something like that. It was it was two steps.
Okay.
They opened it back up again, and then we were on the gold standard, and then they took us off the gold standard. And that's what fiat currency came about. And fiat currency is the thing that can be printed into infinity, basically. Because it's not backed by anything. So, Oh shit, I forgot where I was going with that.
No, you were going to tie it back to El Salvador.
Okay, so yeah, so the U.S. government did that. There was a commodity, there was an asset, and they took control of it.
Right.
Could they go, and hunt it down and find addresses?
That's true.
And try to get people to take.
Doubtful. If it's decentralized, it's nearly impossible.
It is, except for the people who have it on exchanges.
Ah,
you know what I mean?
So they would go after the exchanges.
They go after the exchanges. So, and that's why it is important. If and people say this, you know what I mean? It kind of just depends on what you think will happen in the future. People say that the only way to have, to be the Bitcoin to be truly yours is for you to have your keys and to take control and custody of it. I mean, there's publicly traded companies that have it also, and that's what kind of gives me like, I don't know, but then like the 105,000 Bitcoin that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have, if the government decided that no, like that's now it's like a macro geopolitical asset that no regular company cannot be allowed to have. It can only be geopolitically
because
on
it's
that
so
level.
much.
Because
Yeah.
it's a country level asset now, and no, you can't have it. Like they could go in there and seize it. They have the power to do that. I believe.
That's interesting. Can they really? We really need to move on, but
Yeah, fair.
can they really seize an asset that's supposed to be decentralized and not specifically owned by any country?
I think in that case, it really depends, I would say, because most likely how it will be stored, it'll be multi-factored.
Okay.
So they'd have to have all parties involved probably give it to them. And I just don't know if that would happen.
I don't think that'll happen.
And
That's a big conflict.
It is. And so there's that. And I think they're smart enough to realize that it's not the way to go with this.
Right.
I think it's smart. I really believe that letting crypto flourish will help humanity. So to stop that is to stop a movement that will benefit everyone.
Right.
And it's just about how do we do it in a way that's the least destructive. And that's like, again, there's a bunch of people who are invested in banks, baby boomers, and they're going to start losing value as they retire. Do we really want to crush that industry right when they need that money the most?
No.
So
we don't want to.
So absolutely. So slow it down. We got to get people educated, move them over slowly but surely, and make sure that there's going to be people who get hurt. There will be, but that's I would think what the government would want to do, maybe slow it down a touch, because they are in a position right now with the debt that we have that even inflating the currency is not going to get us out of this debt.
Right.
It seems like.
It would be nice to just turn it into crypto and just wipe it out. Or
That's it.
buy it against our debt.
It's the jump. It's
Right.
the jump, and the whole world is going to make it. The question is, in what order will we be?
Very interesting.
Because now you got countries already made a tender.
Right.
Like there's going to be other adoption in other countries. Like we want to lead there. Let's bring the money. But this is the thing about the U.S. Even the markets, the world looks to us as a safe haven because our markets are so protected, and the required authenticity and transparency that's there for our stock market is why people invest in it.
Right.
So if we can bring the same element to crypto quickly, or a different comfort level, because again, I don't know how decentralization will plan out at all. That's super interesting to me. It just seems counterintuitive to have that there, and I just don't know how they would work it out. I don't see it, but it's a problem that smarter people are gonna have to figure out.
Right.
But again, but leading there, getting that level of clarity, making sure keeping the standards that we have with the stock market, bring it to crypto if possible. People will flourish. They'll invest.
Right. They'll put money in it.
And then again, it's just like we want a fair system where multiple people we can raise up other countries that are having these issues. The dictators in El Salvador will do away with that? Possibly. It's giving sovereignty to the people in a different way they haven't had before.
Right.
I don't know how it will play out. It just because that country could do that too. That was my point.
Right, and that'll be a big story for everyone to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just will the people even accept it? That was another thing.
Right.
Will people want to use that?
I think once people realize the jump that they need to make is that they just need to realize that when it comes to crypto, you have the power. Like once they realize that they have power that they can take, like you were saying, in a very different way. It's not the government. This is something you can actually control. Then they'll realize that they can buy more, and the government can't just come in and be like, all right, I'm taking all of your cryptos. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Again, there's a precedent where you can argue that it's been done before, but the the thing that give another point about Bitcoin, and it just ties in exactly what you're saying. It's so easy to move around.
Right.
So come get me.
Right, right, right.
It would be really difficult. But at the same time, China made a good play on it. And that's what gives me pause about the US, how they handled their crypto and what they did. They basically stopped all the miners from mining.
Right.
And then they had this crackdown recently of tech industry. And it basically took the vehicle by which they could have moved large sums out of the economy and kept the value there.
Right.
And as they're kind of breaking up. So, and that's the type of thing. It's like, wow, like there's moves that could be made to really stunt this hard.
Right, but that means you got to go well outside of the actual day-to-day business that's moving, the moving in the contracts and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to stop it from like an outside force.
Totally. I don't see that happening here. But,
Yeah.
it's like the question is like, could it happen? You want to consider that deeply before, to me at least, I love Bitcoin. I think it's the best. I think
Right.
it's going to, that those things will probably not happen. But if I had to come up with a scenario, like it's not like there's not precedent out there to be able to say that there's not some concern.
Okay,
Could Bitcoin crash?
good question.
Could Bitcoin crash? Yes. It's from what I've read, Bitcoin crashing would have to happen if there was a double spend or if there was a 51% attack. Those are the real ways it could crash. And that's kind of like, again, like the incentive becomes so great to not do that when you get right before you get to the point where, you'd have to be like just an anarchist wanting to take it down, or government wanting to keep power possibly. But even then, like if you got to the point where you were controlling 51% of the mining of Bitcoin as a government, you just have so much power at that point because
Right.
you control most of the money.
Do you
most of a huge store of value. So why would you destroy the network at that point?
So when you say stuff like that, it actually it really moves the tone into like dystopian. Like I could see world wars happening over some country trying to control the mining or trying to control like that large asset in some way because everyone trades with it.
Well, this is the thing. It's like to get to that point, and this is again like I found it fascinating. It would just take a lot of time. They would see it coming.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people would see it coming, and work against it.
Exactly, and
that's true.
So because of that, there's a lot of protection there. It's incredible. Right. Yeah, there's how this is set up. That's why I have confidence in it. Like thinking about this worst case type scenario, and this rationally, it doesn't make sense for that to come true.
It can't happen.
Yeah,
and it's also interesting just to semi piggyback off of what he was saying. A lot of when money is moving, like as far as crashing, I've seen a lot of interesting things happen. Like for example, with Doge, when Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything was crashing, everybody was putting their money into Doge. So Doge, I know a lot of people like to say it was being pumped up because of Elon Musk and all of the hype and everything, but people were taking their money out of Bitcoin and putting it into Doge, making money on Doge, and then selling it like maybe it goes up like 10 cents or 20 cents, but they're putting in like 30, 40, $50,000 because consider like at the time, I think Bitcoin at the time was like maybe nearing 60 grand, like 55 grand or so. So imagine somebody having one or two Bitcoin, not many, just one or two, taking the entire Bitcoin out from Bitcoin, converting it all into Doge. So as soon as it leaves as a Bitcoin and goes into Doge, it's just $55,000 worth of Doge. And if that was at the price that it was when it started climbing, it was like at 30 cents, right? It jumped up to like 72 at its height. But some people, it jumps like from 30 to 60. They made their double because they doubled on the 30 cents. So you consider they put in 50,000 or whatever of that one Bitcoin they had, doubled their money to 100 grand, took it right out of Doge and put it right back into Bitcoin. Now they have like 2 Bitcoin.
Smart.
Or whatever, or 3 or whatever it was.
That's a really good strategy.
Right. And when you were saying that about like the potential crash, and I know I threw that question at you about world wars and stuff, it actually gives me confidence because that's probably what some people will do. Let's say if a country takes over Bitcoin, everyone will just put their money into Doge or into Ethereum or into something else that's crypto, because it is that easy through the exchanges.
Right.
Yeah,
it's true. And it's funny that you would say that because that is kind of like a strategy because of the
Right.
flow of the money through the crypto industry. It's like a lot. There's Bitcoin's going to go up and then it's going to top off and then people are
Right.
going to start taking profits. What are they going to do with that money? They're going to look for another asset. They're
Another
still going
asset.
up.
Right,
And they're going to
exactly.
start pushing it through like the laggards of the crypto.
Of the crypto,
And
yeah.
Well, at least that's what happened over the last couple of cycles that I've
Right,
heard
right.
of. So it's interesting.
And I know a lot of for me especially, people really didn't take, and it's so funny because it also shows the power of memes too. No one was taking crypto serious that I saw until Doge. Once they found out about Doge, like
That's true.
Like Josh, this is basically a cryptocurrency based on a meme. You know what a meme, right?
Yeah.
On a joke. So literally money. People put money. There's nothing else. Like you can't, at the time, you couldn't spend Doge anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck is the value going up on this currency about a joke?
Right.
And people are putting money behind just knowing that, they're getting together. It was like a movement. And I was like, damn, this is like the real power of money. You really start to learn that it's like something emotional that's there, whether it's a joke or whether it's something like Bitcoin that can be seen as an asset class, or even stuff that seemed like Ethereum where they're trying to play it against the dollar and stuff where they want some protection against the dollar. So it's all really just faith. Everyone is putting their money behind every one of these. So if you can put your money behind a complete joke,
Right.
like, oh yeah, we're having fun. Like I would literally see these people posting on Reddit having fun. Yeah, it's going up. The stocks are, like they would have like their rocket emojis and stuff to signify the stock going up. And the funny, I'll just say this. The funny thing about it is everybody wants you to pump up the stock, but nobody will tell you when you take profit.
Yeah.
Just keep putting money into it.
Yeah, that's
Meanwhile, they're taking profit on the back end. But yeah,
that's true.
it just shows like it's really emotional that crypto is. But if the smart people who will prevail, they'll take advantage of those hype moments, whether it's stocks or crypto or whatever. And that's definitely especially with crypto.
That's
I
wild.
actually got another answer to that question also because it just like what you said just made me realize too, like, well, how else could it fail is if people stop using it.
Right. And I
Yeah.
don't see anyone stopping.
Yeah, no, it's the protocol is too strong and the fundamentals are amazing. So there's
Right.
no doesn't matter to. There's too much energy or
Too much energy. Yeah.
All right. So can you give us a positive and negative way? Give us both, if you can, an example of both of how Bitcoin, has affected you.
It's made me save a lot more money positively. It's just made me save. Like I've saved more in the last year and a half than I have in my entire life before that, and that's not even a joke.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful.
It really
it's beautiful.
is.
That's wild.
It just made me change the way I think about money. Like I'm not spending it on stupid stuff when there's an opportunity that's there for to me to better my life, and and it's like, and that's kind of like what I like to talk to people about if I get their ear about crypto, why I think it's good, or just investing in general. It's planning for the future, and it's hard to get there. And I don't remember in my life prior to finding this out, like I would spend money like crazy. I wouldn't even think about it.
Right. It's kind of crazy. You said I was exactly the same way. I would be just buying stupid stuff. Like,
100%.
Like stupid stuff or wasting it on food or wasting it on other stuff. And then you realize that, do you want to take that $20 and buy like a meal, or not like like junk food, or buy like a toy or a video game? Or do you want to take that $20 and throw it into crypto and then turn that into $100 or $200 or more and then buy whatever you want after?
100%.
Yeah. 100%. 1,000%. Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so crazy. Like, and even Doge, like Dallas Mavericks take Doge to get into a game. Did you hear about
I
that?
was gonna bring up and ask you guys about Mark Cuban.
Oh, sure.
He he's definitely involved in that.
Yeah.
But real quick though,
Sure.
has it affected you in a negative way?
I would say yes, in that I've been very singularly focused on it. I've put a lot, I as well as I have saved more money, I put a lot of energy into staying on top of it and learning, and I do it every day. I just look at it every day. So it's become a little bit of an obsession. Just,
Is that a negative though?
I mean, it can be at times when it's distracting to me.
Oh, okay.
It
I
can
got
be.
you.
Sometimes I'm like, I should do other things maybe, and I'm like there.
Nope. Gotta watch it.
Yeah, no. I want to see what's going on. I mean, and it's funny. It's not like it's stopping me from doing physical things because I can do chores and listen to this, but maybe I should be doing some other stuff, balancing a little bit better.
Right.
It's hard, and I've recently felt myself letting go a little bit on that too, because there comes a point where it's like, all right, now I just gotta let it play out,
Right.
and that's kind of like where I'm starting to get now, and which is good. I'm transitioning a little bit from that, so it is what it is. I went through it. I feel good. I still want to learn stuff, but I'm not gonna be like, I don't need to be that on top of it anymore.
Right.
It's a lot of anxiety.
It is. It is.
To me, it's not. It was not that. It was fun. I was just so interested in learning about truly, like
Yeah.
you know. And
Oh, so this was a true obsession.
yeah, I was like, wow. I didn't feel anxiety. It was just like, I knew that there's going to be volatility, and I realized the trick. I could rationally understand that the trick to being able to make money is to be able to
Right.
let it go and realize that we are on a trend here that's been happening for years.
Yeah, let it fly.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Just pick good bets. Know about the things that you're investing in. Understand where they're going. Stay on top of it. And that was like the lesson for me. And that's what I've been through. And now it's like, yeah, I've honed in on where I can find my information better too. So it's just less work needed.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Bitcoin is a smart investment?
I mean, I all I can say is, I bought Bitcoin and I've been buying it, the dollar cost averaging in. I realized that there's, potential to have higher upside in some or other investments.
Right.
But, there's some that I already know right now that I have that I'm going to let them go. And whatever profits I take, I will probably roll them into Bitcoin.
So do you see your entire portfolio being just Bitcoin eventually?
No, I don't. I don't think it would be. I think it eventually. It's really hard to say. I think we'll have time to see how that goes because like you were saying, Ethereum is going to go up more than Bitcoin this cycle.
Right.
Adoption is much greater. It has more stuff on it. There's more apps. There's more value there long term, probably or at least in an interim at the very least, right? So. There's more things to come next year with that. Also, they're going to do the proof of stake, which is
that's the big one.
That's a big one.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
You want to explain proof of stake to us?
Yes. So there's proof of work and proof of stake. Proof of work is the mining that they have to do. They solve the puzzle or whatever. Proof of stake is just now instead of producing coins by mining, you're holding, and the act of holding gives you a yield, a percentage of the asset.
Right.
So the only way that Ethereum in the future, as long as it goes through for what I've seen at least, will be able to be produce is from being in a staking pool.
Right.
So just holding it, and then over time you just gain more of it.
Right. So essentially, at least the bigger picture of it is that it's proving that it holds value just by it not doing anything, by it just being there and being able to be traded between people versus mined and traded.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's producing it exactly.
Right. It's crazy.
I know, dude. It really is, and that's why it's like you hear about all these institutions that they're going to want to do stuff business wise on top of the premier blockchain, and they're going to want to. And the ones that have the Ethereum have a lot of options then at that point because they can sell their Ethereum to other businesses because they're producing it if they wish. They can increase the amount of it they have so that they produce at a higher rate, and then they can build more stuff on the blockchain itself because that's what it will cost to be able to do business on the blockchain.
Right, on the blockchain itself.
Yeah.
So that's how they make their money.
So I mean, yeah, it's just it's a lot of upside for any one of those companies doing it and thinking about it as a person doing it, even if you're not using it for that reason, it can just still make you value, so which is great. I don't know.
I have a couple, or not a couple. I do have one just outside of the box question.
Sure.
As part of like crypto, it's known that there are thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies. There's even some cryptocurrencies known as shit coins instead of Bitcoin
Yes.
because they literally have like no usability, no utility whatsoever. They're just the only utility is to pump it up and then sell it.
Yep.
That's its only utility.
True.
People putting money in, once the money goes up, like a pyramid scheme, they sell. And that's it. They out to the next one.
That's
Do you think that question that I was going to ask, do you think that those shit coins and those useless coins, do you think that they will alter like the Bitcoin market in any way, or are some of the ones that actually have value and utility?
Yeah, I do. I think it's there's gonna be a lot of. I think a couple of different things come to mind when you ask me that. It's going to suck value into crypto overall.
Okay.
That's one aspect of it, because I think people are going to make a lot of money and then they're going to reinvest that into crypto, onto other cryptos.
Okay.
So it's going to bring crypto. But at the same time, it's going to off-put a lot of people because it's going to turn them off from the whole asset class because they will have lost a lot of money.
Right.
I think both of those things will happen. And over time, I think because when you see something go up, the urge will be to reinvest for the people who get off-put, but not everybody will, and they'll miss out.
Right.
That's all. I think there's a, that's what I see potentially happening. What will it be? I think it'll overwhelmingly be adoption with people getting hurt along the way.
I think that's always been like the slippery slope for investing too, because essentially everyone, no matter what, they always invest on hype. So even back then in the 60s, if the price is going up, I want to get in on that because the price is going up. Mm-hmm. And no one really knows if the price goes down, but if the price keeps going up, why not just keep adding to that fire? And the same thing with crypto. I saw that especially with Doge because everybody was just buying and they wanted it to hit $1. And it didn't hit $1. It hit 70 something cents, but a lot of people made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But the issue is that people were still buying like at 70 and they were buying even just at the very peak, and just all of them lost money because it hasn't even gotten back over 40 cents yet. No. So,
I mean, there's still, what will happen when the crypto industry gets flooded with money because Bitcoin's going to go up and it's going to be that effect it's
on everything
and some people will invest in Doge. I still probably wouldn't, like I was saying before, but I wouldn't doubt if something big happens there. I really wouldn't. And the reason why I bring that up is because even those people with a $70 purchase, if they just held it for 4 years, 5 years, and if Doge is still there, it's going to be more money.
Right.
It just
because Bitcoin is going to be more. Yeah, it's true.
And not only that too, but then there's the inflation thing that's happening. It's just, again, the inflation rate of Doge is the thing that's scary.
Right.
They're also printing it very fast.
Right.
Will enough people buy it to overcome that, or will they change the protocol to not be so inflationary? Those are the two main things.
That's what I was actually thinking. I really didn't want to get in the weeds on it, but I just love it. I think that they may turn Doge into a deflationary currency. I wouldn't be surprised they start burning Doge, because that would definitely cause the value to skyrocket.
Yep.
But at the same time, they won't be making much more. I honestly think that if you heard the recent news, they said like the actual original creators and devs on Doge got back into the project. I wouldn't be surprised if a number of like government entities got to them and said, look, bro, you can't make this inflationary currency get this high. Because there is something to be said that if cryptocurrency goes like to astronomical amounts and also can't be controlled, that a lot of governments, could be like almost indebted to the currency itself. So I don't think they would want that to happen. So I think somebody came in and was like, look, y'all got to figure out something with this Doge. Don't let it get too high too quick.
It definitely could be, man. I mean, this is the crazy part about that. It's that. It's not so they're printing a lot of it, but you know what still has a lot of value?
Right.
The network itself.
See, that's
the people
the same network.
who are bought into it.
Right.
So you could throw something on there and give it a use case, or all these people have access to this use case easily now through the Doge.
Right.
So again, what happens if Amazon's like, we accept Doge?
That's the crazy thing. That would change everything. That would change the rules.
Everything. Hell yeah. Because now you can buy regular shit with Doge. It's like, all right, now I have a use for it.
Right.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
And then, but so I don't know, would the government go after it at that point? I don't know. They could have held it back for sure. And I think because of the meme stock status, it's definitely a target. People, because there is no use case to it. Supposedly, it just has a really valuable network.
Right. You can buy a Tesla with it though.
You can buy a Tesla with that. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and smash it down. I think in my long term for Doge is I bet you they do something with it. Too many people have hype. I just didn't jump on that one. You know what I mean?
Oh, you can still jump on, bro. It hasn't gone anywhere yet.
I'm trying to wean off my obsession right now.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Yeah. How's Bitcoin currently trending?
Let's find out. Hold on.
See, you can pull out the phone. Look how easy it is.
Earlier today it was just below. Well, we went from 64,000 to 28,000, because there was a lot of leverage in the system.
Right.
There was
It
a lot
went
of people,
down quite a bit.
quite a bit. And that was the thing. It's like I saw it. I was like, yeah, this sucks, but I know long term that it's going to go up from here. So I
Right.
can't. I'm just going to hold tight. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm still up.
Right.
And fuck it. Like, let's just see where this goes.
And in fact, there's even a strategy for buying more if it goes down, like
Done.
doubling down, tripling down.
It's exactly what you should do. You just
Yeah.
when it's lower than it previously has been, there's a good chance it'll go back up to that. If the use of it is sound, which I believe it is. So Bitcoin right now is at $48,943
For
so,
one.
So for one, yeah, so crazy, and it went up. Actually, it's down from earlier in the day. It was like 9.5, 9.7, I think, guys. 49.7.
Jesus.
Not 49.5. It's trying to hit that, break that $50,000, right?
And I know like 2 weeks ago it was at like 39, 38,000.
It's been-
So people that put in, they at least if they put in for one, they at least got 10 grand off of it just now.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know.
per coin.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, but that's not even the thing. It's like, what percent increase do you think you'll get on it? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
where is it going to end up?
Where's it
being?
going to end up? So I've heard a lot of, I've heard stuff from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has come in and said that he's backing Ethereum. He thinks Ethereum
Really? Wow.
will perform better in the long run.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing a lot of people saying like, yeah, Bitcoin could probably be like $100,000
I know.
per coin eventually. And something like that, even that is kind of crazy because if you can just get one Bitcoin or a couple of them, you would at least potentially double up.
That's
Yeah,
and a doubling
it's amazing.
in a fairly short time. That's the thing. But yeah, I mean, Ethereum is the one supposed to go up multiples.
Multiple times, yeah, multiple thousands, yeah.
So I think I heard one guy say it was going to go up to like 40 grand. I said,
40 grand?
40 grand.
Let me
from
go
like-
grab some more.
I know, right? From 3K, from like
3K.
32 or whatever it is.
3K is like buying wholesale.
Yeah,
almost.
it's- I was, yeah, I bought one at $300 and I sold it.
You sold it?
And I
Oh,
sold it
no.
to buy Bitcoin. I wish I would have kept that.
That's okay. That's okay.
I know.
You can always buy more. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. That's so awesome. That's so funny. Dude, I don't know. It's this crazy thing. Like the regulators just recently, like that was a big deal of why it went up because even though the news wasn't great, I saw like there were like somebody in the IRS recently said that they're not gonna go by the law because they know basically there's this law saying that they were going to try to hold miners and node operators and validators accountable for providing 1099 forms to
Oh, that's
people
interesting.
who are making money off this. And a 1099,
Right.
like, but the thing is, they don't know.
They don't know.
who the
Right.
people are. They're just processing any transactions. They have no idea who.
Right. They
So-
don't know if they work in or contracted to work there or anything.
They don't know any. So, like, how could you hold people accountable for something that they're not involved in at all? You know, and so, and that's the crazy part of where it shows that the government has a lot of things to think about how they want to regulate it. I mean, my thing is, it's like the exchanges, they're supposed to have like 90% of the transactions that people buy crypto are on these exchanges.
Right.
So if you have them and they're making sure that everyone has to provide their username and or their name and social security number and all that,
Right.
then you can get a lot of tax money.
Okay.
So, but then
That's all they can get, honestly.
that's it. I mean,
And it
that's-
also makes sense why China is like all kicking the door with it. they just shut down everything.
I know. I can't believe they did. I mean, I don't know. I'm shocked that they did that. I thought that there would be more like, I don't know, I don't want to say privy, but they would have taken
Nah.
advantage of the gains more.
I could see it 100%. They always seem to be willing to completely put business, like straight business aside, so they can have that iron grip on their people.
That's true.
So, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So it's like there's money to be made. It's like you'd think they could just use that to do something for their government.
they can.
But I guess you know what, you're right. The pull of power and having control is just more important. So.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see them making their own cryptocurrency. I mean, literally everybody's making their own cryptocurrencies. I've heard of rappers
Yeah.
making cryptocurrencies. Your boy Jake Paul was talking. You remember Jake Paul?
Yeah.
With the boxing, he tried to make crypto now.
I think Ancon had like Ancoin.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I think,
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
So is cryptocurrency the future?
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not because it's not just the cryptocurrency itself. It's like just exactly what you were saying. Like they're doing the CBDCs, which is the central bank digital currencies.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I was about to say that. The
Yeah.
U.S. They're trying to make one real quick too.
Yeah.
Within the next couple of years, apparently.
And that's just like basically it's the digital version of the dollar. So they would operate on the blockchain.
Right.
just like all the other crypto. So they would have a dollar version, and then we wouldn't be using cash anymore because China doesn't use cash right now. Apparently.
No, they don't. Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
I was watching this one podcast, and the girl was this lady. She worked in, I think she was a student here, and then she went to China, like after doing 4 years, and she went back after being there before. And she was saying how like she tried to take a cab from, I don't remember where it is, but she was trying to take a cab from the airport to where she was going,
Right.
and then the cab driver, like she was trying to hand him cash, and he was just like, no, I don't want that. And he just like let her go because he just wanted the smartphone transaction.
That's crazy.
So they were like, no, I don't want, like they didn't want anything to do with the cash.
See, that type of thing really scares me because what if like there's like some public dissidence or something? China can just look, we turning off the money.
That's
We're
crazy.
turning off the money.
Never
We're turning off
considered
your
that.
wallets. You ain't getting nothing until you go back home.
Yeah, that's
That
control.
shit is crazy.
That is control.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
absolute
Super
control. Which is
control.
scary.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to buy
I
nothing.
don't know about that shit.
And that's
Neither
the
do
thing.
I.
The dollar too, though, because think about like now the government can see all of our purchases,
Right. See, that's the other thing too.
so everybody has a.
I'm not down with that shit.
Yeah. So
That's-
you better keep your dollars.
That's it. I wonder like how the public will take that. You know, will we have both still? Like, that's a really interesting question. I wonder how they'll handle that. Or are they just going to do away with cash? Like, what will that be like? People are going to be so pissed. That's such a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm keeping my money.
Carl, do you use any other forms of crypto besides Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'll not financial advice or anything, but the
Right,
ones
right,
that
right.
I'm
Right.
looking at, the ones that I've looked at right now, the ones that I'm invested in are Bitcoin, Ethereum, which are like the big two.
Okay.
I got Aave, Chainlink.
Chainlink. Okay.
There's Polygon. I have some Decentraland, Anchor Token, and Solana.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a few there that, and then I think there might even be one more. Oh yeah, I got a couple file coins.
Okay.
What about you, bro?
So for me, I have Ethereum. I have Doge. Not many though. I have a little bit of Bitcoin, and that's about it. Oh, I also have what's known as SafeMoon, which is
Ah,
that's the true pump and dump.
yeah.
Yeah. So that one's weird. SafeMoon is an interesting one, but those are the ones that I have. And are you interested in getting any? Josh?
I don't know, man.
You still don't know? We haven't convinced you.
I'm saying some of this stuff sounds a little scary. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing wrong with it.
To have to. So wait, like, is there a bare minimum like cost to buy or to purchase?
It's whatever you
Like,
want to put in.
it's- That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you
That's-
wanted to put in like $100 and buy just $100 worth of a Bitcoin, you can.
Damn, that's crazy.
You can put in $5.
You can put in $5. I
Yeah.
want $5 of that Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And just watch that shit grow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Or fall, or
literally,
drop,
I can
but-
show you my app, even though it's not
That's-
the most kosher thing.
See, that is very interesting though too. It's very intriguing.
Can I throw out a pitch for you right now?
Absolutely. I was gonna say, like, I mean,
So if you're like, you know what, I just want to fuck around and see what's going on with some crypto. What's a good way to do it? Go to Coinbase, just open an account, right? Like, have somebody send you a link or whatever, and then if you use their link, you get $10 free Bitcoin, right? You get
That happens too.
$100 throw in, and that's how you both get the Bitcoin once you throw in $100 in. I would say buy $100 with Bitcoin, just straight up, right? And then what you can do is if you're willing to do this, you put your ID information in there, and then Coinbase opens up a bunch of like learnings for you where you can earn crypto by looking at this little video and taking a test on it, and you can get about, I think it's like $45 from doing that.
Right.
There.
shit.
So then you would have $145. You increased your total investment by 45%, like right off the bat, like this.
Right.
And now you just with all those things, you can play around with it. Like maybe turn that $40 of crypto into Ethereum and just hold it and watch like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, watch them play off of each other.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
That's
and
interesting.
just let it go.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that right there because it shows that I own 0.005 of Bitcoin, and I put in like $100. So you can see it shows that the equity is almost at $300 from wherever I bought it. So it just went up that much, and so that's that's what some people do. Like, people like us that don't have that much. We're not like crazy balling or anything.
Right.
You could take $100 or $500 or even $1,000, put it in, let it grow a little bit, take it out, put it into something else that's growing. That's like making like short-term plays. They if it was stocks, they would call it day trading because you're buying at this time and you're selling it like a day later. And some people do that. Some people, they literally say, hey, I just want to make $500 a day or $500 a week or $1,000 a week. When Bitcoin is, or any crypto is moving, it's so volatile that if you know the right play to make, or if you have a good guess, you can put in and you can make your profit and then do it tomorrow. Because unlike stocks, you can trade Bitcoin or any crypto any time of the day that you want.
Yep.
Damn, I'm about to see. Like, that sounds exciting, but like I said, also a little anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's like the chase, you know what I'm saying? Chase always to
chasing that price.
Yeah,
you could do that, but then just like if you sound like the best thing for you to do if you really just to play and still make money is just buy that shit and just let it sit there for like a year,
right,
and see where you're at, and then see if you thought you did good with like that much money, and then it just builds your confidence a little bit, and along the way you might be like, holy fuck, I can't believe it just still went up.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine the people that were putting in, like, even like when I remember when Bitcoin, I would just look at it in passing that Bitcoin's like $1,000. I'm like, what the fuck are these motherfuckers putting in so much money into Bitcoin? It's $1,000. Y'all buying this currency? Like those people that put in, like now it's like 40 grand. It reached like the height of like 70.
It was 64.
Just 64. Sorry. Even 64 is crazy.
Yeah.
So imagine some people, they fully believed in it when it was like 500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they held on to so many. I remember even way, way back when Bitcoin was useless, there was one guy that he bought a pizza with Bitcoin. He spent like maybe like 10 or 20,000 Bitcoin on that pizza at the time. You know what I mean? And there were people that were interviewing. They were like, how did you feel? You spent the equivalent of what would be known now as such and such millions of dollars on that pizza. How do you feel? And he's like, oh, well, it was a thing. That was the price at the time. I'm like, I would be killing myself. What?
Yeah, it's a legendary story for sure.
That's crazy. Get out of here. I'd have killed myself already.
I'm glad that guy didn't take it too hard.
He did not. He was like, well, that's the price at the time. It is what it is.
So is there like a spot, like if it hit a certain number, like, and you were at like a nice chunk of change, and then you were like, all right, is there a way to like take some of that or to cash out some of that? Or?
Right.
Yeah, there is. So, and this is part of, what I've been thinking about. I'm flip-flopping on it, I got to be honest. So it's, what do you think is going to happen, right? Are we going to have another 50% drop? Because if we are, then it maybe does make sense to like take a little bit off there, like get some profits in there.
Oh, of course.
And then when it drops again, now you're holding on to some profits,
right,
and you can dump it right in there. Like you can
buy back in.
Back in. Yeah. I'm thinking like maybe I throw some of those dollars into, like, I'll buy some, like, I don't know, like a DAI or Gemini coin or something like that, or Voyager or something
smaller.
So, and then just like, and those have a high yield, so they're earning 7%. And now I just hold on to it, wait for a few months to pass, and then when Bitcoin drops down, or some of the other cryptos I like, whether it be Ethereum, whatever, I'll turn that money that I've profited into more of that, with the understanding that over time it's going to go up. And this was a large dip, and I was able to get access to money I didn't have before, in a volume I didn't have before, because I took a little bit off the table. Like think about this, like if Ethereum goes up to 40 grand, right, and I sell like half of an Ethereum coin, that's like 20 grand,
right,
and then taxes come out, maybe I'm losing half of that, or 20%, or whatever it is for long term. Then okay, fine, that's still a
profit.
Still a profit. I think it's like $16,000 that I would have left over.
Now
I
got that extra question on top of that. When I know that a lot of the cryptocurrencies, they move literally with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is tanking, almost everything else is tanking, like in price. And if Bitcoin goes up, almost everything else is going up in tandem. Do you think that that's not a real like dangerous situation to be in for the other coins, not for Bitcoin?
Yes, I do, and it showed that's what happened when there was all that leverage. But it is like who are the players?
Right.
You know, who's in there? If it's people who are gambling in mass because they see an opportunity, like what would happen, and that's what happened in China and some of these decentralized exchanges, and some of the exchanges, you know, they're offering 100 times leverage.
Right. Jesus.
And if you go down, if the big boys drop, you know, are trying to tank the market, but so that they, you know, because that's what happens, hedge funds buy in. They're like, they play this game where they have a bunch of it. They go out to the Hamptons and they bullshit with their friends, and they're like, hey, let's all sell Bitcoin and then rebuy it. After we wipe out all these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And that's what happened. A lot of people were high leverage. They got wiped. They lost fortunes. And, you know, like we had to reaccumulate with all that leverage out of the market. That's what, you know, I've from watching a bunch of different people, that's kind of been consistent with what they said has happened. And again, like just buying, like you were saying before, buying through that is smart because then you're just getting a better price on it.
Right.
So
would you in order to like just tell new people about Bitcoin or crypto, would you tell them, or let me rephrase it. Would you recommend to them to make a longer play because there are people in the Hamptons that's bullshitting and wiping people out in the short term?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm going to make trades probably at some point. I'm not sure. I am fluctuating between, like, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I do not sell any Bitcoin.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So a long play.
It's a long play. Like, let's not mess with it. You know, I'll just add to my stack. Could I potentially get more from selling and rebuying? Yes. Do I have enough of it where I feel comfortable losing some? Is the real question. No, I don't. So like, I might as, you know, I'm erring towards being conservative with that stack.
Okay.
Are there other things that I may play around with because I still want to try and make mistakes and learn? Yes. You know, and that's what I'm going to do. But I haven't quite figured out yet what it is. There's some plays that seem really appealing to me and seem like they're going to have a lot of long term and the truth of value. And the truth is, we kind of are, or at least me, I want to see what happens with institutional adoption, because the likelihood that once bigger institutions get in, that they don't sell and they have a long term view of it. That's going to keep the price at a higher level.
Right.
So like maybe the play is not to sell because, or for some of them at least, because you just know you risk with short-term gain, you risk the long-term value of what you already have, and you can already stack. And if you have lesser coins that you can flip like into profits, then now I'm just filtering them into those. You know, because I was even, like I said, I was actually considering like maybe I'll sell some Ethereum, but now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe I shouldn't do that. Like that doesn't say, that might not be a smart idea. Maybe I should be stacking Ethereum, just like Bitcoin and all these other coins. We'll see.
All right. Well, we're gonna be wrapping it up here shortly.
Cool.
Any last questions? Any last thoughts?
Well, my final thought is that crypto is pretty amazing. I would say as in investing with anything, try to get into it without emotion. You know, like when it goes red, it's going to happen. So when it goes green, you know, take profit wherever you think is comfortable, but don't ride the train all the way sometimes, or ride the train if it's like Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but this is what I would personally do.
Right.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, definitely. And I think I just feel blessed to have this opportunity out there. And my thing is like, I think it's important to help certain people understand the opportunities that they have. So it's fun to talk about. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
absolutely, bro. We greatly appreciate you agreeing to come on. It's all relative, you know. Is there anything or anyone you'd like to shout out or plug?
Yeah, I basically have to. Like this opportunity that I have, all the influences that I've had and the people that I listen to for some information have helped me develop just my thought around cryptocurrency. People who I listen to all the time, I would just want to give them their shout out.
Yeah, bless them up.
For sure. So I would say Michael Saylor, Raoul Pal. Michael Saylor is a CEO of MicroStrategy. Raoul Pal is the CEO of Real Vision. Anthony Pompliano on Palm Podcasts. James from Invest Answers. That guy's amazing.
Okay.
The Modern Investor is one of my favorite people to listen to in crypto. Super fun.
And it's all on YouTube?
It's all on YouTube. And then the Crypto Lark. Those are the guys I listen to the most consistently. And I got to give them a shout out. Thank you.
Nice.
You're welcome. Not a problem.
You have any social media platforms?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Karl Vatore, and then I'm on LinkedIn also. Find me there as well.
On LinkedIn? Yeah. Gotcha. If you want, later on, we'll put all of that information in. We'll plug it in under the description and everything.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. You want to hit them with your social?
Yep. So for Twitter, it's Retro Show, RETROSHO. You see the Kermit, you know it's me. Same for YouTube now, but now it's in reverse. It's Show Retro. So if you plug at the end of that channel, it will take you to the link where it shows the same Kermit, and I am actually doing retro video games, how-to guides, the setup guides. I'm going to be doing a lot of retrospectives. So we're marching on to the 500 subs, and it's feeling great.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. My Facebook is Joshua Toth. We want to quickly shout out our editor, YO, a.k.a. Jackson Wallace.
Shout outs to that Jackson.
Yeah, we appreciate the work you put in on every episode, bro.
Yes, sir.
Also, big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media. If you are looking for studio time or need a high-quality video done, contact Stellar Sound and Media at gmail.com. We also want to give a special shout-out to all our day oneers, to all of you who have supported us and shown love across the U.S. and in the many different countries across the world. We see you and we love you.
Amen.
Message option on Anchor.
So for that message option on Anchor, you can actually message in with a voice message. Whether you want to shout us out, ask us questions, tell us fuck you, we will respond on our next episode. We will literally play the message and we will respond back, or we'll say thank you, we'll say fuck you back. We may not say that, but we will respond. And you can just go in on every episode, you can hit the message option, you can leave that little voicemail, that voice message, make it about 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so, perfect, and we'll respond. So get on that message.
Yeah, use the message option.
Please.
And we also want to remind you guys to please find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, Google, and Twitter.
God bless.
And that's at IAR Podcast.
Yes, sir.
And by using the platform of your choice, please subscribe, follow, share, comment, leave a quick review, and a 5-star rating on the Apple page.
And shout outs to everyone that has left the 5-star ratings.
Absolutely. We really appreciate those. They definitely help out the podcast. So that's why we try to push it every episode. So please, if you listen to the podcast through Apple, please hit that 5-star rating.
Please.
One last thing before we dip. I just want to mention that my oldest is a few days away from leaving for college.
God bless him.
Yeah, so
he's on that journey.
Yeah, I just want him to know that I'm super proud of him, and I know he's gonna do well and hold it down up there.
Yeah, he got it.
So we love you, babe. But all right, my man, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Great job, Karl. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. So fun.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.
Peace out.